The courtroom gathering. The courtroom was vast and strange, filled with the chatter of many alien species. Bright lights flickered overhead, casting unusual shadows on the high curved walls. The air was thick with tension and curiosity. This was not just any courtroom. It was the Galactic Council, where disputes between species were settled. Today, all eyes were on a small human girl who stood at the front of the room. She was just a child, perhaps no older than 10, with messy brown hair and wide blue eyes. Dressed in a simple, wrinkled dress, she looked out of place among the tall, elegant aliens. Some were covered in scales, others had fur or feathers, and they all towered over her. She felt tiny and vulnerable, but she was determined to speak. The alien judge sat high above everyone else on a grand throne-like seat. He had 3 eyes and skin that shimmered like metal. His expression was stern, making the girl feel even smaller. Around him, alien creatures murmured and whispered, their voices a mix of curious and mocking tones. They had never seen a human in their court before, and many didn't take her seriously. As the judge banged his gavel, silence fell over the room. Order. We will now hear the case of the human girl, he announced in a deep, echoing voice. The girl took a deep breath. She knew this was her moment to speak. Stepping forward, she cleared her throat, trying to summon her courage. Your Honor, she began, her voice shaking slightly. I am hungry. The words felt heavy in the air, and the courtroom erupted in gasps and laughter. Some aliens exchanged amused glances, while others looked shocked. Hunger. What is this hunger you speak of? One alien asked, his voice high and shrill. The girl could see that many aliens were confused, not understanding her basic human need. Humans need food to live, the girl explained, her heart racing. I traveled far to get here, and I haven't eaten in days. She looked up at the judge, her eyes pleading for understanding. The judge raised a hand, silencing the crowd once more. His 3 eyes blinked slowly as he processed her words. You have come to a court of the Galactic Council, yet you speak of hunger. Is this a form of trickery? No, the girl protested, feeling a wave of desperation wash over her. I'm not trying to trick anyone. I just need something to eat. I didn't mean to interrupt your important meeting. The judge tilted his head, intrigued. It was unusual for anyone to speak so frankly, especially a human. You dare to ask for food in this place? Do you not know the rules of the Galactic Council? The girl shook her head, feeling tears well up in her eyes. I don't know your rules. I only know I'm hungry. Please, can someone help me? The crowd shifted uncomfortably, murmuring among themselves. Some aliens were starting to feel sympathy for her. Others still laughed, thinking this was a joke. But the judge remained silent, deep in thought. He looked at the girl, her small frame trembling as she stood alone before him. What do you wish to eat, human? The judge finally asked, surprising everyone in the room. The girl looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. Had he really just asked her that? Anything really. I just want something warm and filling, she replied, feeling hope bloom in her chest. Very well, the judge said, waving his hand. Bring forth the food for this human child. Gasps echoed around the room as some aliens shouted in disbelief. Why should we feed her? She is a human. She is a child in need. Another alien shouted back, showing support for the girl. The room erupted into chaos as aliens debated among themselves. Some thought it was foolish to help a human, while others began to question their own assumptions. The judge banged his gavel again. Silence, he commanded, his voice booming. Slowly, the noise died down. We shall have food brought in, and we will see how this human handles it. The girl stood there, confused and nervous. What kind of food would they bring? Would it even be edible? She felt her stomach rumble, reminding her of her need. As she waited, the atmosphere in the courtroom began to shift. The alien judge's decision to order food for her was a rarity, and some aliens started to see the girl as more than just a simple human. The doors to the courtroom opened, and a group of aliens entered, carrying strange-looking dishes filled with colorful food. The girl's eyes widened in awe and fear. The food looked unlike anything she had ever seen. It was bright and odd, with strange shapes and colors that danced in her mind. As the alien servants set the food down before her, she felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you," she exclaimed, her voice bright with hope. She looked around, noticing the change in the crowd. Some aliens were now curious about her, whispering questions among themselves. The judge observed the scene, his expression softening. Perhaps this human girl was not as weak as he had thought. Maybe she had something to teach them all. As she took her first bite, the courtroom held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The girl savored the flavors, her heart filling with joy. For the first time in a long while, she felt accepted. She glanced at the judge, who was watching her closely. Little did she know, this moment would change everything for humans and aliens alike. The judge leaned back in his chair, pondering the implications of her simple request. Could a small act of kindness bridge the gap between their worlds? A ripple in the council. As the girl savored the strange food, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted. The laughter that once echoed off the walls faded into whispers of curiosity. For the first time, the aliens were paying attention to a human. They leaned in closer, their eyes wide with interest, as the girl continued to eat. The alien judge observed her, his three eyes blinking thoughtfully. She was small, fragile even, but there was a strength in her simple plea. He wondered what it was like to be so vulnerable in a galaxy filled with so much power and indifference. As she took another bite, a mixture of delight and relief washed over her face, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of admiration. "Your Honor," a tall, scaly alien with sharp features spoke up, breaking the silence. "Why should we care about this human child? What does her hunger matter to the Galactic Council?" The judge turned his gaze toward the alien. "She is a being in need, just like many of us here. To ignore her plea is to ignore our own values," he replied, his voice calm but firm. Many aliens exchanged glances, surprised by the judge's words. They were used to seeing humans as nothing more than inferior beings. But now, in this moment, the council was witnessing a human showing resilience in the face of adversity. As the girl finished her meal, she wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you," she said, looking directly at the judge. "I didn't mean to interrupt your meeting. I just wanted to explain how I felt." The judge nodded, sensing her sincerity. "Your courage is commendable. However, you have disrupted our proceedings. You must now face the consequences of your actions." A wave of worry washed over the girl. "Consequences? I didn't mean to cause trouble." The judge raised a hand, silencing the murmurs that began to swell in the room. "This council has rules, but perhaps today is a day for reflection. Instead of punishing you, we shall consider your presence here." The courtroom buzzed with discussion. Some aliens still saw the girl as nothing more than a nuisance. Others began to argue about the implications of her being there. "She is a child," shouted a blue-skinned alien with large, luminous eyes. "Why are we treating her like a criminal?" "She's a human," another alien countered, dismissively waving his clawed hand. "Why should we waste our time on her?" "Because she may be the key to understanding humans," the blue-skinned alien replied passionately. "She has shown us vulnerability, a quality we must not overlook. We cannot forget our own compassion." The judge raised his gavel again. "Enough." His voice rang through the room like thunder. "We are here to make decisions that impact our galaxy. Let us not forget the importance of kindness and understanding. We shall have a special session to learn about humans and their needs." The girl's heart swelled with hope. Could they really learn about her? Could they understand why she was here? "Thank you, Your Honor," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I just want everyone to see that humans can help too." The judge smiled, a rare sight that lit up his metallic face. "Indeed, child. Let us see what you can teach us." At that moment, something shifted in the room. The aliens, who once dismissed her as weak and insignificant, now looked at her with a sense of respect. They were beginning to see her as a bridge between their worlds. Perhaps this little girl, who was hungry and scared, had the potential to change their perceptions of humanity. As the council adjourned for the day, the girl felt a new sense of determination. She had come to this place to ask for help, and now she was being given a chance to show who humans truly were. The murmurs of the alien crowd faded into a background hum as she thought about her role in this grand council. The following days were filled with preparations. The council members decided to hold a series of discussions on human culture. They wanted to understand what it meant to be human, and the girl was invited to share her experiences. Excitement bubbled inside her. She had always felt small, but now she was going to have a voice. As she walked through the corridors of the council building, she couldn't help but notice the diversity of the aliens around her. Some were curious, while others still eyed her with skepticism. But there was something different in their gazes. They were watching her, interested in her every move. During the first discussion, the girl stood in front of a large audience of various alien species. She felt nervous, but she remembered the support from the judge. "Humans have emotions just like you," she began, her voice steady. "We laugh, we cry, we feel pain and joy. We want to help each other. We want to be friends." The aliens listened intently, their expressions changing from doubt to intrigue. She shared stories of her life, the games she played, and the food she loved. As she spoke, the atmosphere in the room softened. She could see that the council members were beginning to empathize with her. The judge watched from his elevated seat, feeling a sense of pride in the girl. She was doing what no one else could, bridging the gap between two worlds. The lesson of compassion began to take root in the hearts of those who once viewed humans as nothing more than insignificant beings. As the discussion continued, the girl's confidence grew. The room filled with laughter and gasps of understanding as she described human traditions and values. It was more than just a lesson in culture. It was a lesson in humanity itself. The girl felt a sense of purpose like never before. This was her chance to change perceptions, to show that even the smallest beings could have the biggest impact. And as she looked around the room, she realized that she was no longer just a child in a courtroom. She was a vital part of a much larger story. The seed of understanding had been planted, and she was determined to nurture it. Little did she know, the ripple effect of her words would extend far beyond the council chamber, forever changing the relationship between humans and aliens. The lessons begin. The next day, the girl returned to the council chambers, her heart racing with excitement and nervousness. Today was the day she would lead the first lesson about humans. She had prepared for this moment, hoping to show the aliens that humans were not just weak, but strong in their own unique way. She entered the grand hall. The room buzzed with anticipation. Various alien species filled the seats, their colorful forms and unusual features creating a vibrant mosaic. Some were even taking notes, a clear sign that they were genuinely interested in what she had to say. The judge sat at the front, his three eyes focused intently on her. "Welcome, everyone," the girl began, her voice echoing through the chamber. "Today, I will share some important things about being human." A murmur rippled through the crowd. She could see some aliens leaning forward, eager to listen. "Encourage," she continued. "Humans are known for our emotions. We feel happiness, sadness, fear, and love. These feelings connect us to each other and the world around us." As she spoke, she noticed an alien with long, flowing tentacles raise a hand. "Do all humans feel these emotions equally?" he asked, his voice smooth and melodic. The girl smiled, grateful for the question. "Yes, but everyone experiences emotions differently. For example, some people cry when they are happy, while others laugh. It's how we express what we feel that makes us unique." The judge nodded, clearly impressed. "Please continue," he said, urging her to share more. The girl went on to explain how humans have traditions and customs that are important to them. In my culture, we celebrate birthdays with parties and cake. It's a time to be with family and friends, and to remember how much we love each other. Another alien, this one with a reptilian appearance, spoke up. What is cake? How is it important? It's a sweet food made from flour and sugar, she explained, her eyes lighting up. We bake it, decorate it, and then share it with everyone. It's a symbol of joy and togetherness. The alien seemed intrigued. Can you bring us some cake? He asked, clearly wanting to experience this human tradition firsthand. Of course, she replied, feeling excited. But you have to understand that it takes time to bake. It's not just about the cake itself, but the love and effort that goes into making it. As she continued, she shared stories of compassion and kindness, explaining how humans often help each other in times of need. When someone is sad, we comfort them. When someone is hurt, we help them heal. It's our way of showing we care. The room grew quiet as her words sank in. Aliens began to exchange thoughtful glances. The judge leaned forward, intrigued. And what about when you face danger or hardship? How do humans respond? The girl took a deep breath, recalling the struggles she had faced in her own life. Sometimes we feel scared, but we also find strength. We unite with others to overcome challenges. That's when we show our true courage. Courage, the judge repeated, his voice thoughtful. A powerful trait indeed. But how do you define courage? To me, courage is facing your fears, even when it's hard, she answered. It's about standing up for what you believe in, even if it means putting yourself at risk. Like speaking here today, even though I was scared. The aliens listened intently, captivated by her honesty. They began to see that humans were not so different from themselves. They, too, had faced fears and challenges. They, too, understood the value of connection and compassion. The girl noticed a group of aliens whispering amongst themselves. Suddenly, one of them, a small creature with bright blue skin and large expressive eyes, stood up. I want to learn more. Can you teach us about human games? I hear you have many fun activities. Laughter erupted in the chamber, and the girl felt a rush of joy. Of course, games are a big part of human culture. They bring us together and allow us to have fun. I can show you some simple games we play. She decided to teach them a popular childhood game called tag. It's easy, she said with a grin. One person is it and chases the others. If they touch someone, that person becomes it too. It's all about running and having fun. The aliens exchanged excited glances, clearly intrigued. We want to play, they exclaimed, their enthusiasm palpable. The judge smiled, amused. Very well, let the games begin. This will be a lesson in both human culture and teamwork. As the girl led the aliens outside to the courtyard, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had never taught anyone a game before, especially not being so different from herself. But she was determined to make this fun. Once outside, she explained the rules, and soon they were off and running. The aliens, with their unique shapes and movements, added a fascinating twist to the game. The girl laughed as she watched them try to understand the concept of tagging. Some were clumsy, tripping over their own limbs, while others zoomed around with surprising speed. Laughter filled the air, echoing off the walls of the council chambers. The girl felt a sense of joy wash over her. This was what she had hoped for, a moment of connection, of unity, between humans and aliens. They were learning from each other, breaking down barriers that had long separated them. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the girl knew that this day was just the beginning. She had opened a door to understanding, and she was determined to keep it open. This was her chance to show that despite their differences, everyone could find common ground through kindness, laughter, and the simple joy of play. The aliens may have initially come to the council with skepticism, but now they were leaving with smiles on their faces, eager to learn more about the strange and wonderful world of humanity. The girl smiled as she watched them, her heart swelling with pride. Together, they were making history, one lesson at a time. The unexpected challenge. The next day, the excitement in the council chambers was palpable. The alien delegates were buzzing with energy, eager to continue their lessons about humanity. The girl felt a sense of pride and purpose as she prepared for her next session. She had decided to teach them about human art, music, and creativity. After all, these were vital aspects of human culture that helped express emotions and ideas. As she walked into the chamber, she noticed the judge sitting in his elevated chair, a look of anticipation on his face. Various alien species filled the seats, their bright colors and strange shapes creating an animated atmosphere. The girl took a deep breath, ready to share more about her world. "Good morning, everyone," she began, smiling at the gathered aliens. "Today, we're going to explore the world of human creativity, our art and music." The crowd murmured with curiosity. The girl felt a surge of excitement as she thought about the beautiful paintings and melodies she loved. Art is how we express our thoughts and feelings. It can be anything from paintings to sculptures and even dance. One of the larger aliens, with 4 arms and a long serpent-like body, raised a hand. "How does art help you?" "Art helps us connect with each other," she replied, her voice filled with passion. "It allows us to share stories, express emotions, and understand different perspectives. For example, when I see a painting, I can feel what the artist felt." The judge nodded thoughtfully. "Interesting. Can you show us an example?" "Absolutely," she exclaimed, feeling energized. "I'll describe a famous painting called The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. It shows a night sky filled with swirling stars over a quiet village. The colors are vibrant and intense, making you feel the emotions the artist felt." The aliens listened intently, captivated by her words. She could see their eyes widen as she painted a picture with her descriptions. The painting gives a sense of wonder and mystery, making us think about our place in the universe. Another alien, with bright orange skin and large eyes, spoke up. "Can we create art too?" "Yes," the girl said, her excitement growing. "Art is for everyone. Let's create our own pieces together. We can use colors and shapes to express what we feel." The judge raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "What materials do you use for this art?" "We can use paints, markers, or even clay," she explained. "But today, let's use colors and paper. It will be simple, but it will let you express yourselves." The aliens murmured, some exchanging glances. The girl could tell they were curious, but a bit apprehensive. "What is food?" one of them finally asked, tilting its head in confusion. "Food is what we eat to nourish our bodies," she explained. "It comes from plants and animals, and it gives us energy. But food is not just about survival. It's also about culture, tradition, and connection." "Connection?" the judge asked, his tone inquisitive. "How does food connect you?" "When we share meals, we share stories," the girl replied passionately. "Food brings families and friends together. It's a way to celebrate, to comfort, and to enjoy life. Today, I want you to experience this connection." The judge leaned forward, clearly intrigued. "What do you need for this experience?" "Today, I brought some ingredients to prepare a simple human dish. Pizza," she exclaimed. "Pizza is a beloved food in many parts of the world. It's fun to make, and everyone can choose their favorite toppings." The aliens looked fascinated. "What is a topping?" another alien asked, its multiple eyes blinking in curiosity. "A topping is what you put on your pizza," she explained. "It can be cheese, vegetables, or meats. Each person can make their pizza unique." The chamber erupted with excitement as the aliens gathered around the tables, where various ingredients were laid out. The girl instructed them on how to make the dough, mixing flour, water, and a few other ingredients. The aliens watched carefully, their eyes wide with concentration. As they began to knead the dough, the girl encouraged them. Don't be afraid to get your hands messy. Cooking is all about having fun and experimenting." The aliens giggled, their initial apprehension melting away as they started to enjoy the process. They kneaded and shaped the dough, some making perfectly round pizzas, while others created strange, abstract shapes. Laughter filled the chamber, and the atmosphere shifted from nervousness to joy. Once the dough was ready, it was time to add the toppings. The girl set out a colorful array of ingredients: tomato sauce, cheese, peppers, mushrooms, and even some strange-looking alien fruits that the aliens insisted on using. "Now, everyone can choose their toppings," she said with a grin. "Make it your own." As the aliens reached for the ingredients, they began to share their thoughts. "I want to try this bright red sauce," one said excitedly. "What if I add this green thing? It looks interesting." The girl watched as the aliens combined flavors she never would have imagined together. One alien created a pizza that was a riot of colors, with bright pinks and greens. Another opted for a more traditional look, layering on the cheese and vegetables. Once they finished assembling their pizzas, the girl placed them into a special alien oven that the council had provided. As the pizzas cooked, the delicious aroma filled the chamber. The aliens inhaled deeply, their eyes lighting up in delight. "This smells amazing," exclaimed the large, serpent-like alien. "I can't wait to taste it." When the pizzas were finally ready, the girl called everyone to gather around the tables. "Now comes the best part, tasting our creations." The aliens eagerly dug in, their eyes widening with each bite. They munched on their pizzas, expressions of surprise and pleasure crossing their faces. The girl felt her heart swell with pride as she watched them enjoy their meal. "This is fantastic," the bright orange alien said, savoring a mouthful. "I never thought food could taste like this." The judge took a bite of his pizza, and a slow smile spread across his face. "You humans have created something extraordinary. This connection through food is more profound than I expected." The girl beamed, thrilled to see their reactions. Food is not just about taste. It's about sharing experiences and memories. You all are experiencing a piece of human culture today. As the meal continued, the aliens began to share stories of their own culinary traditions. They talked about unique ingredients from their home planets and how food played a role in their celebrations. The girl listened eagerly, fascinated by their tales. "I learned that food can heal," said the large alien, recalling a story from his world. "We have a special dish that helps our people when they are sick. It is made with herbs that grow only on my planet. Prizes and discoveries." "That's amazing," the girl replied, her eyes shining with interest. "Every culture has its own ways of healing and nurturing, just like food does." The judge nodded in agreement, his expression thoughtful. "You have opened our eyes to the power of food. It is not just nourishment, but a bridge between cultures." As the session came to a close, the girl felt a sense of accomplishment. She had not only taught the aliens about food, but had also fostered understanding and connection. They had shared a meal, laughed, and learned together. This experience brought them closer and broke down barriers. The girl looked around at her new friends, smiling. She knew that they were making progress. With each lesson, they were creating bonds and paving the way for a brighter future together. The next session would surely hold even more, the unexpected challenge. After the successful pizza-making session, the girl was filled with hope. She had seen the aliens embrace human culture, and she believed that the barriers between them were slowly fading. However, she knew that the next lesson would be more challenging. This time, she wanted to teach the aliens about human conflict resolution. As she entered the council chamber for the next session, she noticed the atmosphere was tense. The alien delegates were whispering among themselves, and the judge wore a serious expression. The girl took a deep breath, sensing that she would need to tread carefully. "Good morning, everyone," she greeted cheerfully, trying to lighten the mood. "Today, we're going to talk about resolving conflicts." Some aliens exchanged uneasy glances, One of the smaller aliens with bright blue skin raised a hand. "Why do you need to resolve conflicts?" it asked. "We do not have conflicts on our planet. Every species has disagreements," the girl replied gently. "Even among friends and family, misunderstandings can happen. It's important to learn how to talk things out and find solutions together." The judge nodded, appearing intrigued. "Please continue." The girl decided to start with a role-playing exercise. Let's imagine a scenario. What if two friends wanted to play the same game but disagreed on the rules? How would they resolve this? The aliens looked puzzled. "Why not just fight over it?" one asked bluntly. The girl smiled nervously, knowing that this concept might be alien to them. Fighting isn't the best way to solve problems. Instead, let's practice talking it out. Can we try that? Reluctantly, the aliens agreed. The girl divided them into pairs and asked them to role-play as friends with a disagreement. She demonstrated first, acting out a disagreement with an imaginary friend over a simple game. "Okay, my friend and I both want to play this game, but we have different ideas about the rules," she said, waving her hands expressively. "Instead of yelling, we sit down and talk about it. I say what I think, and my friend listens. Then we find a solution together." The aliens watched closely, some taking notes with their strange writing tools. After her demonstration, they began to act out their own scenarios. The girl observed them as they hesitantly stumbled through the role play. One pair of aliens started off by shouting at each other, their voices echoing in the chamber. The girl stepped in gently. "Remember, try to listen first. What does your friend want to say?" After a few minutes, the aliens began to adjust their approach. They started to express their feelings and listen to each other. Laughter filled the room as they navigated the awkwardness, learning to work through their disagreements without resorting to anger. "This is hard," one alien said, exasperated. "I am not used to hearing no from my friend." "That's okay," the girl reassured. "It's all about practice. The more you do this, the easier it will become." Slowly, the aliens began to grasp the concept. They were no longer just imitating her. They were genuinely trying to understand each other's perspectives. The atmosphere in the chamber shifted from discomfort to curiosity. After the role play, the girl asked, "How did that feel for everyone?" One alien, with shimmering scales, spoke up. "It felt strange but important. I never thought about how my words could affect others." Another alien chimed in, "Talking things out helps build trust. I want to try this with my friends back home." Encouraged by their responses, the girl decided to introduce a new game that focused on teamwork and communication. "Let's play a game called the Trust Circle. In this game, one person will stand in the center with their eyes closed, and the rest will guide them by speaking." The aliens looked at each other, intrigued, but also hesitant. "What if they fall?" asked the judge, concern etched on his face. "That's part of it," the girl said with a smile. "Trust is built by taking risks, and I'll be right here to make sure no one gets hurt." The aliens agreed, and they formed a circle around one brave volunteer. The girl demonstrated how to guide the person in the center with calm voices. "Okay, everyone. Use gentle words to guide them. Say things like, 'Take a step forward,' or 'Turn to your left.'" The first round began, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. The volunteer was a bit shaky at first, but as the aliens guided them, they found their footing. With each step, the alien grew more confident, even giggling at the surprise of how easily they could trust their friends. As more aliens took their turns in the center, the chamber filled with cheers and laughter. They encouraged one another, and the girl felt a warmth spread through her heart. They were bonding, breaking down barriers through communication and trust. Finally, after the game concluded, the judge addressed the group. "This exercise showed us that even in a galaxy filled with differences, we can learn to understand and support one another." The girl beamed at the judge's words. "Exactly. Trust and communication are vital. no matter where you come from. As the session ended, the aliens thanked the girl for her guidance. She knew she had made a significant impact on them. The seeds of understanding were planted, and she could see the beginnings of a beautiful friendship blossoming among them. With each lesson, they were becoming more like a family. The next session awaited, and she was ready to explore even deeper connections with her alien friends. The taste of understanding. The next session began with an air of excitement. The girl had worked hard to prepare something special for the aliens. She wanted to combine everything they had learned about trust, communication, and conflict resolution into a memorable experience. This time, she planned to teach them about sharing a meal, a universal act that could further strengthen their bond. As she entered the council chamber, she was greeted by the eager faces of her alien friends. The judge stood at the front, looking intrigued. "What do you have planned for us today?" he asked, his many eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I want to introduce you all to the concept of a potluck," the girl announced enthusiastically. "Everyone brings a dish to share, and we get to enjoy each other's cooking. This way, we learn about each other's cultures through food." The aliens looked puzzled. "What is a dish?" one asked, tilting its head in confusion. "It's food, something we prepare and eat together," she explained. "In my culture, sharing meals helps build friendships. Each dish tells a story about where it comes from." Intrigued, the aliens began to murmur among themselves. They quickly agreed to the idea, and each one prepared to bring their own dish to the next session. The girl felt a rush of joy. This was going to be an unforgettable experience. A few days later, the day of the potluck arrived. The girl entered the chamber, her heart pounding with excitement. She had brought her favorite dish, a colorful vegetable stir-fry. As she set it on the table, she noticed that the other aliens had also brought their creations. One alien had prepared a strange glowing fruit, while another presented a gelatinous dish that wobbled like a jelly. There were also vibrant, colorful snacks that looked like little gems, and some aliens had even tried to replicate her stir-fry, albeit with their unique twists. "Look at all this," the girl exclaimed, her eyes wide with amazement. "This is incredible. Let's all gather around the table and share our dishes." The aliens formed a circle around the table, their excitement palpable. The girl suggested they each take turns sharing the story behind their dish. This way, we can learn not just about the food, but also about each other's cultures. One by one, the aliens began to share their stories. The blue-skinned alien explained how its fruit was harvested during a rare celestial event, giving it its glowing properties. Another alien talked about the jelly-like dish, describing how it was a traditional food for celebrations on its home planet. As each story unfolded, the girl noticed how the aliens became more animated, their laughter and gestures filling the room with joy. They began to ask questions, showing genuine interest in each other's dishes. The atmosphere felt warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the initial tensions they had faced. Finally, it was the girl's turn. "I made a vegetable stir-fry," she said with a smile. "It's simple, but it represents the idea of bringing different ingredients together, just like we are doing here today." As they began to eat, the aliens were hesitant at first, unsure of what to expect. The girl took a bite of her stir-fry and gave a thumbs up. "It's delicious," she encouraged. "You should all try it." Slowly, they began to taste each other's dishes. Some aliens were surprised by the flavors and textures, their expressions shifting from confusion to delight. The alien with the glowing fruit found that it paired surprisingly well with the stir-fry, and soon they were all experimenting with combinations. "This is unlike anything I've ever tasted," one alien exclaimed, its eyes wide with wonder. "It feels as if the flavors are dancing." As laughter and chatter filled the room, the girl felt a profound sense of connection. They weren't just learning about each other's food. They were building friendships. The barriers that once existed between them were melting away, replaced by a warm sense of camaraderie. After the meal, the girl suggested they clean up together. "It's more fun when we all work as a team," she said, and the aliens eagerly joined her. They worked side by side, washing dishes and clearing the table. The energy in the room was infectious, and they laughed as they joked about their cooking mishaps. As they finished cleaning, the judge stepped forward, looking pleased. "This has been a remarkable experience. Through sharing food, we have learned not just about each other's cultures, but also about the importance of unity." The girl smiled brightly, her heart swelling with pride. "Exactly. Food is a way to bring people together. Just like communication, sharing meals can help us understand and appreciate each other better." The aliens nodded, their eyes gleaming with newfound appreciation. They had learned a powerful lesson about connection and understanding. As the session came to a close, the girl felt hopeful. She knew they had grown closer, and each lesson had brought them one step further toward unity. She was excited for what lay ahead, knowing that their journey together was just beginning. The bonds they had formed would last, and she believed that their friendship could truly change the galaxy. With a wave and a smile, she left the chamber, her heart light with joy. She couldn't wait to see what new adventures awaited them next.